Hello guys, welcome to the Real Talk channel. We are back here for some discussion. Discussion on serious matters as usual. Okay, so I feel like you know, something just came up. I think work ethic, you know, matters a lot. Goes a long way. You see this thing about career advancement, achievement, and see, it's not easy. It's not easy. You know, it is not something you do by wishful thinking. If wishes were horses, they say. If wishes were horses, it is not easy. You have to put your money where your mouth is. You have to pay your dues on a daily basis with your time. You know? See, anything you are doing, you have to, in order to separate yourself, in order to carve a niche for yourself, you have to have an unbeatable work ethic. I mean, you can't afford to, you can't be deceiving yourself doing things like every other person and think that you make any difference or you stand out. Well, or unless you want to, unless your father is or unless you have a big name. You should know what I mean by that. Unless you have a big name, you know, a big name that wherever you go and mention it, you know, favors will be opening for you left, right, and center. Then, in that case, maybe you can afford to not have, uh, you know, a dazzling work ethic. You can, afford to you still be okay, you know. But for people like us who want to do this, you know, who want to make a mark for themselves, who want to separate yourself from the crowd, you have to do something that the crowd is not doing, that only a few are doing. You have to be willing to make that sacrifice. You have to be willing to pay the price. And one of those prices are having an airtight work ethic. What is work ethic? You know, work ethic is basically your work habits. The work habits you have developed over a period of time, from hard work, smart work, you know, from discipline. Let me give you an example. There is this basketballer that died last year. Kobe Bryant, yes, Kobe Bryant, that died in a helicopter crash with his family. May God rest his soul. In his eulogies, a lot of the fellow celebrities and fellow sports personalities that eulogized him. There is one consistent thing everybody said about him, especially his colleagues in the athletic world. Said that Kobe Bryant had an unbeatable work ethic. That no matter how successful he was or he got, that his work ethic even became even more challenging. You can imagine a man as successful as Kobe Bryant. I mean, he's a household name, that The first thing he does every morning, early in the morning when he rises, is train. Go into his gym and train. The last thing he does every day before he goes to bed is go to the gym and train. Every single day. Every single day. When his colleagues, when they had a basketball game, he's always the first to report at the gym. He's always the last to leave the gym. Every single day. You know, despite his talent. This is, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you don't, you know, there's a certain level you get in life, you get to in life. You don't have to kill yourself like that, you know, with work ethic. But the thing is that this work ethic was developed, became a habit because it was developed while he was still a nobody. Probably he was still a nobody in the sports, you know. So even when he became somebody, even when he achieved so much in the sporting industry, that work ethic could not leave him. You know, it stuck with him as he went. You know, as he advanced in his career. So that's one thing about it. There are some you know habits you develop. There are some work ethics you develop. You've accomplished all you wish to accomplish, all you look forward to accomplish, that thing will remain with you because it has become part of you. Even if you want to let it go, it won't let you go. You know. So that's probably why even at that level of success, he still he's still stuck with, you know, that kind of, you know, that kind of attitude to work. So I think I think that is another part of part of our being that we should really look at. As of course, when you are you've not you are still fighting, you know, to get there. You are still working, and you have to know, you can't be, you have to, they say that there's something about, they say, gathering moss, you know. So sometimes, let me digress a bit. Sometimes it's not good to be a jack of all trades, you know. At every point in time in your life, you should have a few things that, you know, you are passionate about, and that you are pursuing passionately, and you give good, you know, a considerable part of your time daily, you know, to build and to develop, you know. You don't do everything and you expect to gather most in everything. No, you know. And you expect to have an unbeatable work ethic in everything. No, you'll just be chipping here and there, and at the end of the day, you will not make substantial progress in a few of them that will actually yield, you know, sufficient or adequate results. You know. So going back to the topic, you know, so unbeatable work ethic is very important. It's very important because it is what will it is what will it is what will over time, when you are you are building something, it is what will keep um um what word do I use? It is what will get that your vision to fruition. Like when you are building, it's just like building blocks, you know. It's just like building a puzzle. When you get to a certain stage, or you fix a few and leave it and go, you know, because you probably got tired or you got frustrated, you are not making much progress. When you leave it, it's there waiting for you. If you leave it there for the next 5 years, it's there waiting for you. But when you have an unbeatable work ethic, what is unbeatable work ethic? Now, when you are now building this puzzle, when you are now building blocks, you know, this thing kids play with, when we played it as kids. Unbeatable work ethic is when you see this challenge in the puzzle or in the building blocks, you you always come. You always come to it periodically, short intervals. Maybe, let's say, every morning is the first thing you do. You go to your puzzle, you look at it, you spend like 10-15 minutes in it and leave. You come again, later you come back again. Every day, or maybe twice a day. You know, consistency. You're always coming back to it. You're always coming back to it to make progress. Perseverance. No matter the challenge you face, no matter how difficult it has become, you still come back. You think going to the gym is easy, like Brian or like footballers that have achieved so much? It's not easy. You stretch your body. In terms of the puzzle and this thing I'm talking about, you stretch your mind. But you keep at it. That's unbeatable work ethic. Is it about your career as a doctor? Developing or specializing in a particular area of medicine. You come to your hospital, you come early in the morning, you do your rounds, you go to your library, you study, you further your studies, in particular specialize in area of medicine. You need unbeatable work ethic to be able to get all this together. Is he as a lawyer that wants to, carve a niche for himself, make good business, have rich clientele? When I mean rich clientele, like good network of clients, Of course, you have to be competent. You have to be good at what you do before you can build that kind of clientele. And how will you build that kind of competence? It's unbeatable work ethic. You report to your office, study your files, study your cases, do your research, deliver on your client's work on time and consistently too. The things you are known for. Do things that constantly improve your skill, that constantly separate you from the crowd, that constantly give you an edge. That's what work ethic is. You see those things, anything you do for a living, you do those things that constantly develop your skill in that thing, that constantly keep you, give you an edge, keeps you on your toes in terms of self-development, and separates you from the crowd. That is what unbeatable work ethic is. And doing those things consistently to a point that you don't even have to do that. You start doing them involuntarily. Anytime you don't do it, you feel like you are incomplete. That's unbeatable work ethic, and you need it to advance in anything you are doing in life. You see, as a dedicated family man, you always make out family to play with your children, to do their homeworks, to generally be a good family man. It's unbeatable work ethic. So putting more energy in unique ways in those things that matter in your life, and putting them in a way that is intentional, in a way that makes it in a way that makes you stand out, in that area, in that aspect of your life. People will see you, like paying so much attention to your kids' development. They'll be like, wow, there's something about that family, there's something about that man, there's something about that girl's dad that is unbeatable. Other parents don't usually do. Somebody sees you in your career, be like, there's something about how that guy does his work. There's something about his consistency. There's something about his passion for this work. That's just, it's as simple as that. But it's very important. I think we all need that. We all need that. You can't just be living your life passively, especially for things you have passions, things you're passionate about. You can't be passive about things you're passionate about. You want to remain where you are for the next year, for the next 5 years, next 10 years. You don't want to make progress. You don't want to look back in the next 5 years and say, "Whoa, I've come a long way." You don't want to do that. You want to look back in the next 5 years and you are still where you are, or you still haven't made so much progress. It's just any place they win carries you. No effort, no extra. You're not putting extra. You are just going with the flow. Don't go with the flow. Your career, your life is not something you go with the flow. If you go with the flow, the wind will carry you anywhere and dump you somewhere, an obscure place, and your life will become obscurity in no time. Don't do like that. Don't live like that. Okay, be very intentional about things you do, and try to distinguish yourself in anything you do. Try to distinguish yourself. You will never regret it. It comes with a lot of discipline. It comes with a lot of pain. But you will never regret it. So far, you know what you want to fulfill. By the time you keep making, progress in the fulfillment of that objective, it will keep pushing you to do more. But if you are not used to being passive, living passively, anything goes kind of style, man, good luck. But it's not ideal. It's not ideal. It's not ideal if you want to be a man of timber and caliber. Yeah, so that's what we have to say for now. Having an unbeatable work ethic and helps you to push where you need to push, so that you get where you want to be, where you should be. You know, you didn't come to this life to live passively. Just your purpose with intention, so that when you look back, you know that you've lived. Thank you. See you next time.